Satoshi Kon. He's not a commonly known name for typical moviegoers, but those who do recognize him usually know his works. Paprika, Tokyo Godfathers, and Paranoia Agent, which I've talked about in last year's Ani-vember. Like Ghibli films, Kon's projects exude his own special style, one focusing on realism distinguished by the blurred lines between the reality of the world and the surreality of everything else. People's psyches, absurd situations, the expanding imagination, all that good stuff. His first time in the director's chair was actually for the 1995 OVA series of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And strangely enough, this would not be Kon's deepest dive into the weird. In fact, you could say it was just the beginning. So if his starting point was JoJo's, how does one go up from there? Well, making Perfect Blue one of the most recognizable thriller horror anime of all time certainly helps. The story centers on an idol-turned-actress, Mima, as she tries to further her new career in the movie industry. But as she continues, she begins receiving threats on message boards, feels like she has eyes constantly watching her, and even has her own private life invaded. And it only gets crazier than that, as people she personally knows begin getting injured or killed by the series of events caused by a stalker. As her career in films also start to affect her mentality, Mima begins blurring the lines of the real world and the imaginary one, further kindling the horrific events to come. For her first film, Perfect Blue is geared in a distinctly creepy direction really unmatched by any other film. While there are films with similar feelings like The Shining, Perfect Blue's setup is an untouched realm, tackling a very real problem in Japan's popular culture. Like the film portrays, the idol industry is an underlying threatening career, but this can really happen to any celebrity, when an obsessed fan takes things too far and endangers the victim and their psychosis. But that's not the only point of topic. Perfect Blue takes things a step further by looking into Mima's psyche as the audience sees what she sees, which is scarily realistic, thus fogging up our own perception of what's real in the world. It's a creative way to get the audience on the same page as the main character, and adds to the tension and eeriness of the atmosphere, knowing the POV can either be an illusion or a real situation, both of which are detrimental to mental health and the story's entire point of celebrity mentality. The atmosphere of the film is that good. The beginning of the movie doesn't really lead you astray, but rather has you creep into this world of Mima's, where her life as an idol ends and as an actress begins, as the plot subtly nudges you toward these uncomfortable feelings slowly but impactfully when they become prevalent, like when Mima's routine of feeding her fish is scarily and tragically halted. What I really appreciate about the film is the balance of low-stakes routines, the abrupt and unsettled disturbance of those routines, and the frightfully close tragedies that unfold soon after. There's a nice sense that this is still a functioning world where people work, play, eat, and sleep, which only makes what happens to Mima and those around her all the more terrifying. Like, why is this happening to me? Who or what wants me to suffer so badly? Did I do something to deserve this? It's a very paranoid film, and while I do think it really highlights the celebrity aspects of those mentalities, this can and has happened to normal people. If I did have one major critique about the film, it is that the ending is kind of obvious when you clue in who has the down low on Mima's life so intimately. Granted, the mystery is not really the focal point of the film as much as the irrationality surrounding her mental state, but still, it did take me out of that irrationality when I figured it out, which didn't take that long. Plus, I'm going to sound weird, but I think the climax is hilarious. I know it's supposed to be scary as it is a chase between Mima's deteriorating mind and the chilling realities of the world, but those realities are kind of funny watching them be this complete antithesis to Mima's psyche. I don't know, I just can't keep a straight face whenever I watch it. But all in all, Perfect Blue is too good to pass up. It's drenched with great psychological horror, animated in a distinctly impactful style, linked to some powerful themes any cultural worshipping celebrities should acknowledge, and is an overall good thriller story. Prowl around for it sometime and catch what you can of this colorfully dark movie. And Satoshi Kon? This won't be the last we hear of him.